In this lesson I want to delve deeper into alternate picking. This time we're going to be looking at 2 licks over 3 strings and then we're going to combine those licks together at the end. The first is just going to be first position E minor pentatonic. So that, that framework is going to look like this. Okay, but we're going to be using the last 3 strings, the G, the B and the high E string, and we're going to be playing all the notes the same. So all the notes are going to be 12, 14 and 15, G, B and high E. And the pattern is going to be this. Okay, so it's all going to be the same frets, but the pattern is going to be this. Starting on the 12th fret of the G string with a downstroke, we've got 12, 14, 15. Then 12, 14, 15, 14, 12 on the B. Then to finish off the ascending part, we've got 15, 14, 12, 14, 15 on the B. And then 12, 14, 15, 14, 12 on the high E. Okay, so we've got this. Okay, then we're going to repeat the 15, 14, 12 on the high E string. Then play 15, 14, 12 on the B twice, and then back to 15, 14, 12 on the G. Okay, so we've got this. Okay, so you play the G string notes twice as well, and then that's it, that's your loop finished, and you just continue doing that round and round again. So the whole thing slow should sound like this. A little bit quicker. And again, up to speed. Okay, it's up to you how you want to end it. You can do a bend on the 15th fret of the B string, or you could end it on 14th fret of the G. It's entirely up to you how you want to do it. Just make sure when you do bends or finishing notes that you add a good amount of vibrato on there as well, just to let the audience and the world know that you finished that lick where you intended to finish it. Okay, right, so a couple of things. Alternate picking, again, as I've mentioned before, is trying to keep it nice and even and clean. That's the best way I can sort of put it across to you how it needs to sound. You don't want to be hearing loads of extraneous string noise or anything like that. You don't want to be playing with too much gain either. Or if you've got an acoustic lying around, all of this stuff is a really good practice routine on an acoustic, because if you can do it on an acoustic guitar, then you can do it on anything. That's something that I do a lot, is just sit around playing at home with an acoustic guitar, because it really makes you have to work a lot harder to get the notes out and get it clean, and also play with conviction as well, because an acoustic guitar isn't as forgiving as an electric guitar. So if you've got one lying around, then pick that up and have a bit of a shred on that as well. Yeah, again, there's some palm work. A good place to have your palm for any kind of muting, whether you play rhythm or, kind of alternate picking low on the strings, or even, if you're kind of muting the strings while doing some legato playing with your left hand. And the best thing to do is kind of, I've got like a Les Paul style bridge on this guitar, so, in between that and the back pickup is generally the best place to have it, right in this gap. It's quite a nice place to have your palm for palm muting, and you're just kind of using the fleshy part of your palm sat right there. So yeah, there's a few things to kind of remember when trying to keep stuff clean. But the best thing to do to keep anything clean is to play with conviction. You know, you don't want to tickle the string. You know, I mean, I pick quite hard. A lot of people say to me, "Oh, you know, how do you get stuff, you know, to sound so clean or whatever?" It's just because I'm quite a hard picker, and I just find that because I'm so definite with the notes that I play, it kind of makes all other noise around the note kind of frightened to make any sound whatsoever. So, you know, I mean, it's the same with legato playing as well. It's like, you know, to get clean legato, I generally have to hammer down onto the guitar really hard for the notes to properly pop out, and then you'll notice that that generally keeps your playing pretty clean. Okay, now we're going to look at the descending part of this lick. Well, I mean, it's two separate licks really, but, you know, they're going to go together at the end of this tutorial, so here's the next bit. Okay, this descending part of the lick is something to practice all on its own as well. We're just going to start on the 19th fret of the high E string, start with a downstroke, and we're going to play 17, 15. Then we're going to play 19, 17, 15 on the B twice. So we've got... Then we've got 17, 16, 14 on the G. Then back up, so you've got... Then you've got 15, 17, 19 on the B. Okay, so we're starting this pattern off on the 19th fret of the high E string. 19, 17, 15. Then moving to the B string and playing the same frets twice. Then we're moving to 17, 16, 14 on the G. So we've got... Then back up, so 14, 16, 17 on the G, and then 15, 17, 19 on the B. So then repeat those notes on the B string, then play 15, 17, 19, 17, 15 on the high E to finish that pattern. So okay, so, you know, as you get a bit faster, for me personally it feels a bit more relaxed the slightly faster you play that lick, but that's probably just because I'm used to playing it at, you know, the sort of normal speeds that I play at, but, you know, don't feel pressured to have to, you know, shred this stuff straight away, because it's going to take some work to get it nice and clean and tidy. Okay, so now we've done both the patterns. And we're going to basically use those two positions and utilise both of those patterns. So first of all, I want to go up the first position that we looked at, but then using that same pattern that we used to descend, I'm going to move up to the next position. So this is what I mean at slow tempo. Okay, so you can kind of get what I mean. Instead of going, you're going, you know, kind of basically just coming down the second position. So what it's doing is it's encouraging you to use the same picking technique, so your right hand's not going to change, so don't worry about that, but then your left hand is. So obviously it gives you a bit of variation, and it gets you used to changing between positions. So, you know, up to speed it sound more like this. And so on. You just literally loop it round and round and round. You know, obviously, you know, you're trying to aim for perfection every time you do it, but, you know, the nature of being human, there's going to be the odd note that you might just occasionally scuff or whatever, but, you know, that sort of situation is left for the live side of playing, and then, you know, the perfection side of it generally happens in the studio. So that's my excuse anyway. So basically we're going to try that in the reverse. We're going to come down that second position, and then we're going to go up the first position, but using the same ascending pattern as we did in the second position, if you understand what I mean. So this is what we did as a recap. Okay, so instead of that ascending pattern being there, it's going to be there instead. So we're going to have this. Okay, so basically it's slightly different than what I said, but probably because, you know, when you start to do some of these exercises, you might find that rhythmically, actually, you might need to add a few more notes in there just to make it kind of work and feel comfortable to play. So in actual fact, we were doing this. Okay, so okay, so that's all going to be on, you know, a tab PDF anyway, so you can kind of check it out, and you know, the proper notation for each of these licks will be on there, just in case you get a bit lost. But again, the actual point of this is to get you used to being able to, you know, play really clean alternate pick runs, and you know, get used to playing over multiple strings, and you know, changing in between positions as well. So you could try doing that, swapping them around this time, so let's see how that sounds. Slightly more tricky, let's try that again. Okay, so again, you know, there's different variations that you can do once you start to feel way more confident with doing this kind of stuff. But, you know, if you can, you know, get close to doing it like that, then you're definitely on the way to, you know, getting a really good alternate picking technique, and you're going to get really good synchronization between your left and right hand. So until the next lesson, I'll see you later.